Hello and welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the session on the computer hardware, and I also hope it helped you to bridge the gap between knowing exactly what your program statements go through to become instructions that your processor is able to execute. All right, so like anything else on the computer, there are usually several ways of getting the same thing done. And so in this video, I'm going to show you another way that you can use to open your code base folder inside Visual Studio Code. So I'm going to start off by quitting Visual Studio Code. And then inside your terminal, let me just assume I have started my terminal freshly. And so it is pointing to my home folder. What I am going to do is I'm going to cd onto my desktop, and then I'll go into my code base because that is where the code base folder is. Okay. All right, so I'm going to clear this and we'll check our PWD. Again, you can see that indeed the PWD is now code base on the desktop, which is in the Pi folder, which is also in the users folder. Now, I want us to be able to open Visual Studio Code from the terminal or the command prompt if you're on Windows. And I want it to open such that it will open with the code base folder already loaded with all the files that we wrote in there. So the way to do that is you simply do code. So this code command is only available in your terminal or your command prompt if you have installed Visual Studio Code and you installed it properly. I remember that when I was demonstrating how to install it on Windows, there was this section where you had to check a checkbox to say it should be included in your path. If you did that, then this command is going to be available. Otherwise, it is not going to be available for you. So I'm assuming it is available for you. And so the code command simply opens Visual Studio Code, but you can pass it a path so that it loads that path when Visual Studio Code opens. And you remember that when I say dot, it means the current folder. So I'm basically saying Visual Studio Code should open and load the current folder, and the current folder is code base. So I'm going to press enter, and then we allow Visual Studio Code to load itself, and you can see that indeed it loaded, and it looks almost as if there's nothing different from what we're seeing, and indeed there should be no difference. The only difference is the approach. In the first way, we drag the folder onto Visual Studio Code, and in this way we are starting Visual Studio Code to load that path or the directory's content from the terminal. So this is one way, and thank you very much for staying with me.